Welcome to episode 9 of the Creative Train podcast. I think I've coined a term here that I'm going to keep coming back to, and I call that the vibe value. What value is there to art? And I'm not talking financial value. I'm talking, what are you offering your clients and customers, viewers and listeners with your creations? We're going to talk about that right now. All aboard. I made a rather cynical social media post a few years ago in which I said, no society is ever remembered for its pencil pushers or cubicle dwellers. And I still do kind of believe that. But in retrospect, I realized I was not being very kind to those people who do those jobs. I wasn't being dismissive, but unkind, because not everyone has their creative output or productivity as an artist as a real priority. We do indeed need those kind of folks doing those kind of jobs, but it was made at a time when I guess I felt undervalued as a creator of music and visual art, which is endemic to the mental state of most creators. I did, a few years later, make a public apology on my YouTube channel, which you can find somewhere out there in the ether. But when one pours their heart and soul into their product and then faces criticism from listeners or viewers about having the audacity to expect the financial recompense they feel they deserve, factoring their time and materials and the vibe value added to whichever environment their works will be displayed or used in, honestly, it hurts. By vibe value, I mean, if you're bringing something into your home that you find appealing, you're adding value to that environment. If you're playing a tune from a favorite new songwriter that you just saw at a pub or an open mic or something like that, and you buy their songs or you stream them through whatever streaming service you use, you're remembering that beauty that you first experienced and welcoming it back into your home. That is the vibe value. If you're a new creator in any discipline, you understand the excitement that you feel in the design or the writing process, creation process. You also know the emotional highs and lows that come along with your self-assessment as to whether or not you are doing your best work. And when you finally complete said work and offer it out to the world via social media or for sale on popular web portals for arts and crafts, and you're basically shat upon by viewers or listeners, it has a way of echoing in your consciousness for a long time. And it continues to reverberate despite the reverie of your next creation or creations, weeks, if not years later. So what is it that you're trying to bring into the world? I look at it as offering a piece of yourself to be brought into the homes and minds of your customers. We all have a unique view of the world, different ideas of what beauty is, and in the many forms it can come, and many different ideas of what is important to us as humans. Some of us write about it, some of us draw it, some of us paint it, some others will sing about it, or create theatrical events about it. But whatever form our inspirations take, they are ultimately a piece of us, and we humbly or proudly offer them for purchase. To seek out a career in the arts of any kind is so incredibly humbling, not only because of the years of hard work, dedication, study, and practice it takes to learn and then hone your craft, but you want to make it as personal and unique as possible, right? In episode 6 of the Creative Train podcast, I touched upon the topic of the copycat syndrome and the non-prioritization of originality over the desire to fit in or hop on some trend in the art community. Sure, there is some value to this, but at what cost? You leave yourself constantly looking for the next new thing to emulate. And that can be exhausting, but it's mostly actually kind of dishonest. As a music teacher, I often have students who wish to explore songwriting, but feel they either aren't good enough to craft a song or they just don't know how or where to start. But I always meet this kind of moment with great excitement and joy, and never once have I dismissed anyone for their level of ability, for wanting to be creative with their newfound skills. Case in point, I had a young lad start taking guitar lessons with me. His mom told me how he is constantly making up songs about every single thing that happens to him at home or at school, literally wherever they go. His running commentary on his experiences took the form of song, and he gleefully sang out loud everywhere about everything. So it was really quite natural for him to lean towards songwriting once he got into playing guitar. As most young boys do, he had a great appreciation for, what shall we call it, potty humor. And so do I. So we got along famously after even 5 minutes together. Following his first introduction to changing notes on the guitar and learning a few very basic chords, he was just beaming with pride that he was doing the thing. The next week, he came back and was eager to show me what he had created, and his mom was absolutely mortified about what she thought was about to happen. She warned me that he had made a song about going to the bathroom and was trying so hard to convince him not to play it for me. But I would hear none of that. And I openly encouraged him to play it and sing it. And honestly, it was hilarious and had me gasping for breath and laughter as he strummed his one-chord song about going potty, complete with sound effects, dramatic pauses, the rise and fall in both tempo and volume. It was actually a very maturely constructed piece of music, despite the topic. Folks in the waiting area joined in the laughter, and other instructors came to witness the encore performance. And this young guy, who was maybe 9 years old, had 6 people laughing hysterically. And to this day, about 15 years later, I still tell people about the potty song as encouragement so they can write their own songs. So as creators, we can bring levity into people's lives. We can give them a much needed pause from their daily grind to enjoy a laugh with others, or give them something that tugs on their heartstrings and appeals to their sentimentality or nostalgia. And art can do this like not many other things can. My principal focus as a music teacher and as a glass artist is to give my viewers and listeners something new to think about. Offer them new perspective. Make them think as their eyes and ears wander around my creations. This, to me, is my highest aspiration, because there's so much information out there online about learning an instrument, and there are countless works of art instantly available for your viewing. So why do I even bother to try to make something new? Because nobody else is me, and I'm not trying to be someone else. We all have unique experience and skills that have shaped us and ultimately will shape our creations. And my goal to make people pause and think is always foremost in my process, from design to execution and hopefully to the sale. But just to juxtapose this with a bit of other stuff, I think most people would consider wrong, like inciting violence, marital disloyalty, or abuse of any kind, And to make that the content of your creations is really bringing nothing of positive value to anyone. Songs that glorify sexual violence or gang murders and other reprehensible behaviors simply cannot lift anyone up, but rather it only immerses them in a kind of cesspool of degenerate behavior, trying to make it almost tantalizing. People admire creators for the impact they've made on their lives. Creators are role models in a sense. And though none of us are perfect, we have a responsibility, or should have a responsibility, to bring a bit of beauty into this world. Not that we are to deny that other such things exist, but why glorify it? Why celebrate it? You can have a play or a film or a concept album about other things in history that were awful, and that gets people to think about it. But to celebrate it, that's wrong. What that can do to people who admire you as a creator is to give them incredibly wrong ideas about how to conduct themselves or how to treat others. Okay, rant over. Back to the main topic, the vibe value of art. When you put your creations out to the world, either for sale or casual consumption, you must remember that you're putting something of yourself out there to be seen, heard, touched, tasted, and experienced by who knows how many people for who knows how long. My best suggestion to every creator is to make sure that you offer only your best intentions with your creations. That kind of engagement will not only endear you and your art with your supporters, but will leave people with only good memories and hopefully have them coming back for more. There's your pep talk. Now go get to work. Yeah, there's a lot to think about in that one. The value of art and the place it plays in not only our minds and our hearts and our homes, but in society as well. People look to artists and creators to help them understand the world around them, and to help them understand the world around them through the artist's unique filters and perceptions. So create responsibly, but create always.